Welcome, guys. How are y'all doing? I hope everyone's doing good, safe, happy, and healthy. Welcome, guys. I pray that everyone listening to this is. Fuck's sake. You fuck. I pray that everyone listening to this is safe, happy, and healthy, and that wherever they go, they keep the heart of the Lord, and it's not about how much they have, but it's about where their heart is. And I pray that your guys' heart never turns cold, and I pray that you always stay with the Lord. With that being said, today's video. Questions about God and your faith. I have some questions for Christians. Let's go. Well, sorry, I didn't even say what I'm doing. I'm so tired. I'm just fucking birthing out content, bro. Like, dude, since the day I started up until now, I have not stopped making content. I make so much content. So, with that being said, we're answering this guy's 2, 4, 6, 7, I fucking hate that I can't say 6, 7 without fucking being corrupted. Anyways, we're gonna answer this guy's 7 Reddit questions about God, and we're gonna try to answer it as much as we can. I think it's actually only 6. What was your turning point believing in God? Okay, so I'll say this. I always believed that Jesus was real because I grew up as a Christian. So I always had the foundation, but I never had the faith, and I was never really a true Christian. I never really understood what it meant. I never really took God into consideration. I always thought about other religions and looked into other stuff, but nothing felt safe. My turning point was when I really read the Bible and I really realized, holy shit, this is people just like me, struggling with the same thing I struggle, but they sound so mature and wise. Once I realized they're just like me, everything in my mind changed. But I would say I fell into a deep depression because derealization. I got like a fucking mental disorder. It's fucking gay and retarded and pussy. But I went through a really dark time, and I always prayed, and I came out really Christian. At the end of the day, I just kept praying. And then my true turning point where Christianity just gouged in my heart and I couldn't take it out was when I fell in love for the first time. And I love this girl so much, but I didn't know what to do with my love for her. I literally just turned to God, and I tried so fucking hard to bring her to God. I was trying so fucking hard. That was my turning point when I really fell in love, because I looked at her and I said, wow, this is the love of God that they speak of. I've never felt anything like this. I was dead, and then I met her and I was alive again. So I will say derealization was the first time I realized I need God, and I need God's help. That was the first time I realized I cannot do without God. I'm nothing without Jesus. I'm an empty shell without him. That was when I first realized that. And then when I met her, I realized what I'm fighting for, why I believe in God. At first, I realized that I needed him, and I understood I can't do it without him. I met her, and I realized why I need God. And then I lost her. And then I understood why I still chose God. I still chose him. So yeah, that was my big turning point. How has your life changed since believing God? Drastically. And the reason why my life changed drastically after believing in God was because it brought life into my life. I have problems with everything. We all have problems. Believing in God doesn't take those problems away. It just makes life possible, because living in this earth, we're all so exhausted. I was looking for rest. I needed salvation, and he reached his hand down and he grabbed my hand, and I I became alive again. You know, I died before, like, in my soul I died like many times. And then I met him and everything changed, and I never looked back since. I couldn't live without God. I couldn't live without Jesus in my heart, and I couldn't do it without him. And I always need him, and I always crave him. And I sometimes wish that I always had this faith, but if I always had this faith, I would never have grown into the man that I am now. Sorry, I had technical difficulties. Okay. But yeah, my life ever since God came in. Don't be fooled. People are going to tell you life gets better when God's in your life. It's true, it will get better. But I'm telling you, you will have really hard trials, because that's like when the Bible says, I know about sin because of the law, but that doesn't make the law evil, it makes the law righteous. Once you know about God, you know about evil, and curiosity killed the cat. Not saying that this is going to kill you, but wanting to know more and knowing more, it's going to cause a lot of pain, but it's okay because it's worth it. How would you tell others to believe in God? How do I tell others to believe in God? That's actually a really good question. How I do it is I always go back to love. Everyone craves love and everyone needs love. And everyone is always misunderstood. At some point in time, everyone feels misunderstood. There's only going to be one thing that understands you, and it's going to be God. And how do I point them to Christ? I would never believe in a God who's never showed that they love me. Ever. I would never do that. What has any other God done to show you that they love you? No one did what Jesus did. Who did it? No one's done what Jesus did. Ever. And I tell them that, and they sit there and they're like, that's a good point. Because it takes a different kind of person to die for everyone's sins out of love. No one forced Jesus to do this. Jesus didn't have to do it. He didn't have to keep doing what he was doing, but he did it because he loved everyone. And that is what makes God God. That he does it out of love. They didn't do it out of glory. If he did it out of glory, he wouldn't have been born in a little hut when it's cold out, and he wouldn't have been what is it called? The people who I forget what it's called, but he wouldn't have like had a normal job like carpentry. He wouldn't be a carpenter. Like, he didn't do it for the glory. He told everyone, yo, don't praise me. They praised him anyways because they knew he was God. He didn't have to say, yo, I'm God, praise me. He said, don't do it. They did it anyways because he knows they would. When someone asks me, Brendan, what do you want for your birthday? I don't say, give me something. I say, no, don't get me anything. But they still do it because they love me. It's like Jesus saying, oh, I'm not saying you don't need to worship me, but they'll do it anyways because Jesus is saying, showing how humble he is. But those who honor the Christ honor the Father, and those who honor the Father honor the Christ. What do you think heaven is like? Well, I think heaven is like, imagine the earth, the wholesome, holy things that you've enjoyed, but 1,000,000 times better. Heaven is earth without pain and suffering, times infinite. Heaven is love, right? Heaven is the things here that you dream about when you go to sleep. Heaven is the movies that you watch and you wish you were in the movies because earth sucks so much. How can you draw others closer to Jesus Christ? It's simple. One word. Actually, it's not one word, but how can you draw others closer to Jesus Christ? Number one, the most number one way to draw people closer to Jesus Christ, it's not preaching. It's not preaching. Becoming like Christ. That is the number one way to turn people to Christ. It's not preaching. It's not. When you preach, people hear words. But when you embody the characteristics of Christ, they say, whoa, who is that man? Let me go talk to that man. I've never met anyone like him. Why are you so nice? This is how I've done it. I've never really brought people to Christ through preaching. Some people I have, but a lot of people, because they knew me, they got closer to God. Not because I preached all the time, but because I practiced what I preached. I embodied Christ. All the time, do I do that? Fuck no. 9 times out of 10, I'm a wicked piece of shit. So don't get this twisted. Don't sit here and think that I think I'm Macho Man Randy Savage. No, I'm a fucking piece of shit. Whatever. Like, don't get me wrong. I have my good side 100%. I have my holy side. I have my saint side. But I also have my wretched side. But, yeah. How can you draw other people closer to Christ? You embody Christ. You act like Christ. And they say, yo, who are you? Why are you like this? And you say, can I be honest with you? It's because of Jesus Christ. He taught me how to be like this. They say, really? I want to be like this. They go and pray. Boom, they're Christian. Embodying them. Embodying Christ. And then preaching, obviously. But number one, you have to embody Christ. Because if you're a fucking piece of shit and you're preaching, yeah, his words are nice, but this guy's a piece of shit. I don't want to... If this is who's representing God, I don't want to be part of it. But, wow. This guy's awesome. He's such a nice guy. And he preaches like a saint. I want to be this is what I want. Yeah, so embody Christ. And has God ever spoken to you? Every single day. Every single day. And I'll show you guys when he spoke to me yesterday. I was angry. And he literally showed me a sign. It's hard to read. But it says, I saw this sign when I was mad. I was fucking cussing, and it says, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He speaks to me all the time, and he tells me, Brandon, you don't gotta keep being so angry. You could relax and you could rest. He's always speaking. But are we always listening? Is the question. Jesus is always speaking. But are we always listening? Not really. You know it's God speaking when it's not confusion, hate. You could tell someone's, just as the Bible says, how do you know if someone's of God? The fruits of the Spirit. How do you know if it's Jesus speaking to you? The fruits of the Spirit. If it's not talking to you with the fruits of the Spirit, it's not God. If it's saying you're a piece of shit, you're condemned, that's not God. If it's saying I love you, you're my son, that's God. God does not, and I'm going to tell you something, when God speaks to you, it's Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists, says he speaks to you through signs and synchronicities. If I keep having synchronicities, that's God's way of speaking to you consistently. God speaks through synchronicities. But yeah, guys, I hope you liked that little breakdown. I didn't go too crazy on this. This is just a little light cover, but these are awesome questions. Because this is questions, this guy wants to be a Christian. He wants to know more about Christianity. He doesn't want to test our faith. He just wants to know people's genuine opinions. He's seeing what Christians are like and if he should be a Christian. I like these questions. But yeah, guys, I'm so tired. You could probably tell in the way I talked. I'm fucking exhausted. But I had to just keep pushing out content. I love you guys. Stay safe. And I'll see you next time.